When I was in high school, I was really into photography. I was the photographer for my high school newspaper and the yearbook. So wound up, next thing you know, I'm actually enrolling and wound up going to the College of Santa Fe. They had this big film program, and I saw the students doing homework, which was making films. And I was like, that's your homework? Like that? Somewhere second half of my freshman year, changed my major to film and have never looked back.
Depends, I guess. Sometimes I think it might just last forever.
In school, started making weird movies. And then a short film I made my junior year of college. Got into a couple film festivals, which I was like, wow, this is amazing. And that's just when it like hit me. It's like, hey, I guess this is it. I'm a filmmaker now. Shortly after graduation, moved to Portland, Oregon, kept on making film. And this was like mid-90s, and you could find films at thrift stores. And so I started buying all these old films and re-editing them. And then the cool thing about film is you could actually go in with like a magic marker or a Sharpie or bleach or scissors or something and actually like write on the film itself, and then you actually see it. I think 2002, I made a film called The Subconscious Art of Graffiti Removal. And it got shown at Sundance, which was huge. That's like the biggest film festival in the world. And that was the film that got everyone's attention in the film industry. Like, dude, you should be directing. So then I started getting hired as a director and started doing a lot of music videos. There's one film I made in 2012 called The Great Northwest. I've always loved shopping at thrift stores. So it was about probably 2008 or 2009. In a thrift store, I found this scrapbook that was made by 4 women who lived in Seattle, who in 1958 went on this epic road trip. They left from Seattle. They actually drove through Spokane on their way to Yellowstone National Park. Then they went up to Glacier. Then they drove to Portland. They went down to the Oregon coast, drove down the entire Oregon coast, over to Crater Lake, and then back up to Seattle. They were on the road for like 5 weeks, thousands of miles. And they collected everything. And I thought, okay, here's my next project. I'm gonna follow their road trip as closely as I can, and I'm gonna go to every spot that they have documented and see what's there now. It was the most fun I've ever had making a movie. 10 years ago now, in the 2012, 2011, that's when Portland State University started its film program. And they needed professors. And as everyone in Portland knew, I'm a filmmaker. And they just reached out and said, hey, would you be interested in teaching? Adjunct, taught 2 classes and really liked it. So at that point, I made a little career change and moved into academia. So teaching film after sort of being involved with it for so long is interesting, because for me, like, especially when I first started teaching, I kind of basically just set up classes that I wish I had had. Wanting to answer the questions that I had when I was 25 years old and either working in the industry or making some film or something. So my experience in the film industry is definitely informed by teaching.
Disturbing indeed.
Give me a hand and let's jump out the window.
You don't need any money at all. Or maybe, you need like $20. You can make a movie with nothing as long as you really approach it like an artist. If you get creative, if you don't try to emulate what we're seeing coming out of Hollywood all the time, but just approach it like a kid in art class, right? You got your giant bucket of crayons, and you can do whatever you want to with them, right? And we can do that as filmmakers, and that was really got me excited.
Also, can I